I am going to talk this morning about myself. So there is going to be a lot of I's, me, myself, us, and so on. Please ignore that. What you are here for is to get to the juice of the problem, or the juice I hope I am able to share with you. And that is overcoming challenges which come in your life. So we'll start, and I have titled my talk today to this: on a leg and a prayer, I soldier on. They say that starting a talk or an article or a piece of writing, and also say a test which you all have all the time, is the most difficult thing to do. And the best way is to start at the beginning. And my beginning was when I was born. I was born in Rawalpindi, popularly known as Pindi, now in Pakistan. That was 1941. We come from a middle-class Punjabi family. My father was a banker, a low-level official when I was born. But by dint of hard work, and he became and finally retired as the chairman of the bank. My mother was a homemaker. Both of them were educated, hardworking, highly progressive, and highly supportive. But the more important part is that they were progressive, secular, and highly supportive for the children. The beauty is that in our family, we were not bothered about the various innumerable middle-class prejudices which unfortunately haunt our society. And therefore, we had a very good life. We also shunned the mumbo-jumbo of religion, the rituals, and therefore, again, we had an easy life, not constrained by all these things. 4 siblings, I am the eldest, 3 brothers and a sister. I first went to school in Lahore as a small kid. At that time, the independence movement was at its highest. And we kids learned the few jingles which were there at that time. And we used to recite them as we played. Things like Inqilab Zindabad and Toti Bacha Hai Hai. This is my favorite. Because we had heard all this. We didn't understand the full import of these. But this is the environment in which we grew up. And there's a popular Punjabi saying, which I tried to translate into English: if you have not seen Lahore, you are not born. That's what they say. But I'm sure a lot of you have not seen Lahore. The madness of partition, 1947. Our big country was divided and chunks were sheared off. I'm sorry, you will not be able to see this, but this was the India in 1945, and this is what became of India in 1970, or after 47, although this is 1971, and parts of the great country were sheared off. But it all happened with a great deal of violence, unknown to mankind till that particular time. And I'm talking of the partition violence which took place astride the border on both sides. We were at that time in Kasur, I'm talking 1947, a border town on now in Pakistan. And we were in the midst of this violence. I remember the Kasur railway station. In the middle of the night, huddling near our mother, because a massacre had taken place, and the eerie silence which prevails after a massacre of that nature was there. There were a couple of soldiers who were keeping the marauding, violent people at bay. These were mobs. And then the train came, finally, while we were looking for it. These are some photographs of that violence. These notes, the vultures sitting on top of the roofs. These are the way we came to India in the train to safety. This jumps. Anyway, we were in India, the family was safe. We left everything behind. But that challenge was there to rise, and the family rose at that time. Thereafter, my father was posted to a number of places, and I went to many, many schools. I never went to any snobbish, expensive schools, but I was given good, solid education. And it is that education and the environment in my home which built my character. National Defence Academy, 1957, I joined the National Defence Academy. I was there for 3 years, and it was these 3 years, plus the 1 year I spent in IMA, which built the crucible which built my leadership qualities and my character qualities. Just like your character is being forged in bits today and in the next couple of years. The Sahib and Dehradun. This is where I learned the advice given by Lord Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Karam is dharma, and I have followed it since then. I translated this karam is dharma to work, sacrifice, and discipline. You can have your own translations. Now I come to the India-Pakistan War of 1965. It was late August in 1965 that our battalion was at that time in the Srinagar Valley, and we were operating against the Pakistani soldiers who had infiltrated in the whole of Kashmir. And it was here which was the defining moment, the second defining moment, and this jumps a lot. I think I have been pressing the trigger too hard, and therefore this problem. Right, gentlemen, it was in Srinagar, close by to Srinagar, the Dachigam forest. Tell you a little bit about it. I don't have much time, but we were out in a column. We had to search 2 villages, and we had to search this forest. We searched the villages, found no one, no enemy letters. And then, as it was getting on in the evening, we entered the forest, the Dachigam forest, which at one time used to be the hunting preserve of the Maharaja. We had information that the Pakistanis were holed up in there. Now, because it was getting dark, and I thought I was the best in map reading at that point of time, I, against what was taught to us in the training, went ahead at the head of the column so that we should go the correct way. And as we were climbing up to the pass, suddenly there was a burst of fire and I got the first bullet in my thigh. Quickly, our column took the action, counter-action, which was to be taken, and charged on the ambushing enemy, killed some and the others ran away. At the end of it, in a few minutes, when we took stock, we had two casualties, both officers. One was the brave Second Lieutenant Rao, and the second was myself. The boys carried us through the jungles and the mountains. It was a long haul. We had only one stretcher, which alternated between Rao and me. He had got a burst in his right arm, but because it had become dark, our boys did not realize that that burst had also gone into his side and pierced his lungs. In the meantime, of course, messages were passed. My commanding officer was at the hospital, at the military hospital in Srinagar, where we reached at about 2 o'clock in the morning. I had lost a lot of blood. And the doctor on duty told my CO, "Sir, one of your officers is dead, and the other is about to die." The other meaning me. But he was very good. Quickly put me on blood, did the cross-matching of blood, put me on blood, got hold of the surgeon, operated immediately. Then what had happened was that the bullet had pierced through my femoral artery. And the doctors in the audience may know that the femoral is this thick in the thigh, and it takes your blood down to your toe. He opened it, he couldn't close it. He couldn't join, so he closed both the ends to stop the bleeding. And then the doctors hoped that the smaller veins will take the blood down. It didn't happen. And therefore, my leg was amputated. And at this point of time, let me show you a facet of war. People get wounded because of many things: bullets, shells, aircrafts pounding on you, mines, grenades. But to understand that there are so many different facets, I have a little clip here, and which I would like to show you. Our Prime Minister at that time was Lal Bahadur Shastri. He led the country in that crisis. I remember he came to see us wounded soldiers. We were in the military hospital at Delhi. The war was still on. So he asked me, "How are you?" I said, "I'm okay. But the war is on. I want to get back." He only smiled. He was the one who coined the slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Today, of course, there is neither Jai for the Jawan nor. Well, after her hospitalization, taken to Pune, in the military hospital there, the reason was that it is co-located with the artificial limb center, because I had to be fitted with a leg, and so were the other officers and men who had lost limbs, arms, legs, toes, feet, etc. So we spent our time in artificial limb center. But this was the time with me where I had to ruminate, to think. I had three options as listed on this slide. I chose the most challenging one, no change, but compete. And that is what I have done since then. I also came to a number of conclusions as listed again. The last one is important. I'm not the same. I'm different. And this is what I learned and I have followed throughout in my life. Disability is only I competed for everything, including the hand of my love, Rolling. We were married 1 year later. Her father was also a general in the army. He commanded the same battalion which I later commanded. But we never met because he had died a long time back when I was still in school. He was one of the few couples who had, when they got married, it was a love marriage, and both the spouses were of different religions. I'm talking of the conservative India of the 1920s. We followed suit. And thereafter, our two daughters followed suit. Yes, we had two daughters. And they also married like this. I don't know whether our children will follow suit. We've got 3 grandchildren. That's Smile. He got a bravery award in school, and that's what he's holding. And we have another photograph with the grandmother and their mother. And that's my...
Sorry to interrupt, so 1 minute remaining.
Pardon?
1 minute remaining.
So this is what it is. Now, I will have to run through. This is another quirk in our family. We all got married in hospital. And my daughter wrote this romance on crutches thereafter, at that point of time. It was published in one of the newspapers. I got a merit vacancy for staff college. And then this was the excellent thing which I did, command of my battalion. I got a Vishesh Seva medal for this command. Thereafter, I went as a military advisor to... I'm sorry, this is not working very well. And after coming back as a military attaché at Kuala Lumpur, I came back, became a brigadier and wrote the famous national war game, Brass and conducted in Delhi. I got an AVS thereafter. I commanded my brigade in Punjab in the tumultuous days of the Sikh insurgency or militants.
Sir, could you please wrap up?
Yeah. And then I went to USA and attended the US Army War College. Thereafter, there were a number of my appointments in the army, which I can't go through because of the time. And I commanded the armored division, the second officer to do so. The first was the Sundarji, and I was the second one. And can I show them another clip, or is it no time? This one.
The result of a hit on a fully armed tank is spectacular.
That was the ammunition inside the tank which was going. I was DGMO, and Pakistan DGMO at that time was Musharraf. But since I've been told to wrap up, I'll say this. I've had a lovely life. I have met the challenges enough. And even after I retired in 2001 as the Vice Chief of the Indian Army, my zest for life continued. And I continue to remember Lord Krishna's Karam. I set up an NGO, the War Wounded Foundation, for the personnel who were wounded in battle. And I also set up a think tank for the Army, the Center for Land Warfare. So here I am before you. Please take back with you what you want. I wanted to say something more. I wanted to end up a little differently. But there are. Thank you very much for